All right, this time around on Author's Corner, thrilled to introduce you to Angelo and TJ Haygood. Their book, How to Build a Successful Marriage. Truly, it's a guide based on what they know, 39 years together. The book has 39 activities designed to help intimacy, really nurture it. Also, communication, who doesn't need to enhance that? And deepen understanding, boy, oh boy, whether you're a newlywed, seasoned couple, whatever, this will help you. So here they are joining us on America Tonight with me, Kate Delaney, Angelo and TJ. Thanks for coming on.
It's really an opportunity and a huge, blessing to be here, Kate. You're phenomenal.
Well, thank you for that, TJ. So you and I had a long conversation, and it was like Angelo was behind the screen. He didn't know what we were saying, so we can surprise him with a few things. Tell us how the two of you, TJ, from your perspective, how did the two of you meet? How did this whole thing unfold, your relationship?
Oh my. So we were college students, literally. I was a transfer student from a small Christian school called Southwestern Christian College, transferred my sophomore year at North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University of North Carolina, A&T. He was the first person I met, Kate. I don't think I mentioned that to you. And he was one of the nicest people I have ever met. And I kept trying to introduce him to my girlfriends and my suite mates and my roommates, like, oh, you need to meet this guy. He's like one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. Just my kind, but you really need to meet him. And unbeknownst to me, he liked me, but that's another story for another day. Fast forward over 2 years, we were dating other people. And our senior year, we broke up with the person that we were dating the longest. And he then, we decided that we would just hang out our senior year, not expecting anything to materialize. Long story short, he became a Christian. I was excited. We kept spending all this time together. And finally, we decided we wanted to spend so much time together that we were either going to dishonor God with our relationship or honor God with our relationship. And we got married our senior year, our first semester of our senior year, if you can believe that, in 1982.
Wow. So, Angelo, from your perspective, how many years later? I mean, we're talking about a marriage. You've been married for over 39 years, and you had an incredible career, 25 years, in the military, and just thinking about that and thinking about what that takes. And then TJ had a successful executive career as a recruiter and a corporate leader, and she was eventually a CEO of a recruiting company and did so many interesting things. And then you have children in the mix of this. Angelo, did you imagine that journey when you first got together?
No, I could not have imagined that journey. One of the things that really was important, I didn't realize this at the beginning of our marriage, was that it really takes two to have a successful military career, or just any career where you're, a potentially executive officer or something like that. I didn't listen to her at the beginning of my career and wasn't doing very well. And then I started listening to her, and all of a sudden my career started taking off, because she's that other half. She's my helpmate and and she helped me to be better. And when she had her business, then I became her helpmeet in that business. It was really interesting because when I was in the military, they would say, oh, this is Lieutenant Colonel Haygood and his wife. And that's how she was introduced when we go to official functions and events and so on and so forth. Well, when she owned her own business, her own executive recruiting business, and I would go out with her, I became, this is TJ Haygood and her husband. So the roles kind of flipped, where at the right time, we supported each other in what the other person wanted to do and what was important to them. So that was very important. But I had to learn a hard lesson at the beginning of our marriage. It took about 5 or 7 years before I learned that lesson. So it was not very easy.
Wow. So you decide to write this book. The two of you decide, hey, we're going to write this book. And in putting the book together, tell the listeners more about what they can expect to hear about TJ in the book.
Thank you so much for that. Kate, I think it's important to know that the book really sets up a foundation for marriage. I think we go into marriage feeling all these wonderful, emotional attachments, physical attachments, financial needs. We see something in the other person we want that will benefit us, but we really often don't go into the marriage identifying the role that we should play, need to play in order for it to be a successful marriage. And we found that being God's way, the way that he structured in scripture, Old Testament, New Testament about marriage. When we really look back and understood that, our marriage took off. So our book really helps people through 10 little simple chapters. It's a very quick, easy read book with less than 125 pages that just talk about some basic things, but from a spiritual perspective. So just to give you an example, we talk about communication in one of our chapters. We talk about the time that we should be silent in a relationship. There were times that Jesus was silent with his apostles. There were times that he moved away and stepped away just to pray. Those things were so important as principles. And so just even in our 10 chapters, a successful marriage requires shared responsibility. It requires unwavering faith. It requires compassion or clear communication. And so we talk about things from a practical perspective, Kate, that helps people regardless if they are newlyweds, about to get married, or they've been married 25 or 50 years and they just need a little extra boost every now and then. So that was kind of the foundation of our approach. Yes.
Yeah, what a great approach, too. And again, How to Build a Successful Marriage, Angelo and TJ Haygood, that's who we're speaking with. And you can get the book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever great books are sold, of course. And Angelo, what do you do when you hit a bump? What happens when you just, it's hard. There's just something you disagree. You heard TJ talk about communications. I think that it's so hard, that communicating part, and then the role of God, and to remember that and how you set it up. Did you keep coming back to that, and did that help you?
Yes, I think one of the things is first of all, we were both committed to God. We were committed to our faith, number one, before we were committed to each other. And that played an important role. I remember one of the pieces of advice that was given to me, an older man. I was in a small men's group, and this older man was helping us deal with certain things. And somebody asked him in the group, "What happens when you and your wife get in a really big argument and you're mad at each other, you're not talking to each other?" And the guy says, "Well, you love her more. You love her more. You love her more than you're angry at her." And that's really important to understand, is that we have to, and love means not in an emotional or affectionate way, but love means that you care for her well-being more than you care for your anger, for how you feel at that particular moment. And that was really important, because I had to get over a lot of angry moments and show my love to her to help begin to heal the relationship as we went forward. Not that I did it perfectly all the time, but I did it enough times where she decided to keep me, and we've been together now for 41 years.
Woo, 41 years. So TJ, you heard what Angelo just said. Are you so happy that you must be, that's why you've written this book, that you two are on this path together? Could you have imagined how blissful, amazing, incredible you'd feel right now talking to me?
No, could not have. In fact, in the book, we talk about it in the intro and the first chapter. We were a disaster waiting to happen. And at the worst points of our marriage, I honestly believed that I was being punished for every sin that I had committed, and that I was going to be miserable the rest of my life. And to surrender to God and say, you know what? It's all about you. And if this is what I need to do, is just serve him through the rest of my life because I'm serving you, I'm all in. But I did not see benefiting from that, Kate. And to tell you what an amazing man of God he has become, and I really believe it's because we each individually surrendered to God and gave our marriage to him. And he allowed us to work on ourselves. And when we started to work on ourselves, the other person became more attractive again. The other person became more of that blessing that God already had for us in the beginning. We just couldn't see it because we were in our own way. We were in our own hurts. We were in our own pain. We were in our own expectations. We were in our own misunderstanding of what marriage is about. Oh my goodness, we were just a mess, truly.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. We were just a mess. You're not a mess now. We have less than a minute. I'm going to give you each 30 seconds. How do you like that? Angelo, what do you hope people take away from reading your book?
I hope that they take away that they're not alone. They're not by themselves. You know, they're not, their troubles, their problems, their issues with each other is not unique. And it's things that happen in a relationship. You think about your brothers and sisters or your cousins. If you didn't have any brothers and sisters, you always are arguing, not always, but many times you're arguing, fighting with them, didn't like them at the moment, but you never thought about leaving them, right? The same way in the marriage, you know, you're going to have your ups and downs, your good times, your bad times, but just remember that you're not alone. You're not the only one who's gone through this, and there is hope on the other side.
I love it. TJ, how about you?
Yes, I would just like to say it's a beautiful, beautiful portrait. A priceless portrait. If they could see the relationship between Jesus and the church, oh my goodness, and how much he's willing to give, and what he wants for us is the best. He wants nothing but love and abundance for his people. If we understand that and we can model that with each other and give each other our best and want the best and give our best, oh my goodness, it's the most beautiful relationship ever. Yes.
Perfect place to end this. Angelo, TJ, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.